Let's get started with our first news. Khabib talks about a possible UFC rule change, and it's one that would completely shake up the sport. Although rule changes in MMA are incredibly rare and usually take years of discussion and approval, if Khabib Nurmagomedov had his way, he would eliminate rounds entirely. Yes, you heard that right. No rounds at all. During his sit-down with Adam Zubaray, the UFC Hall of Famer and undefeated legend explained that if he were the UFC president for a day, he would completely restructure how fights are timed. His idea is simple. Non-title fights would just be one continuous 15-minute round, and title fights would be one continuous 25-minute round. No breaks, no pauses, just pure fighting until the clock runs out. He said, like you step into the octagon. Regular fights are 15 minutes. Title fights are 25, right? I'd say no rounds. No rounds at all. I always wondered what's the point of rounds? What's the point of it all? It's all for entertainment. They pause for ads and all of that. I get it, it's for business. But if we're talking pure sport, I'd get rid of rounds. No rounds at all. They just step in and that's it. There should still be rules, no strikes to the back of the head, no groin strikes, that sort of thing. But yeah, I'd still get rid of rounds. Now think about what that means. Fighters would have to manage their stamina in a completely different way. No more coming back to the corner after 5 minutes for water, for advice, for recovery. If you're tired, you have to keep going. If you're hurt, you either survive or you don't. It would test a fighter's true endurance, their ability to strategize on the fly, and their mental toughness. It would also dramatically change coaching. Corners wouldn't have those 1-minute breaks to give instructions. Everything would have to be yelled out live while the fight is happening. The MMA community had very mixed reactions to Khabib's idea. Some fans love it. They believe it would take MMA back to a more raw and primal style, almost like the early days of the UFC when there were fewer rules and it felt more like a real fight. They say it would reward fighters with true grit and cardio and remove the game of stealing rounds on the judges' scorecards. On the other hand, many believe it would be too dangerous. Fighters could take more sustained damage without those small recovery breaks. It could also make the sport harder to regulate for safety. But Khabib seems very clear about his reasoning. If it's about pure competition and not the show, he doesn't see the point of rounds. For him, a fight should be just that, a fight from start to finish, without interruption. It's an interesting debate, and one that sparks a lot of conversation about what MMA truly is, sport or entertainment. Moving on to the second news, Daniel Cormier and Chael Sonnen recently discussed why the UFC doesn't want Jon Jones on the upcoming White House card. This White House event has been building buzz for months, with fans expecting some of the biggest names in the sport to be part of it. However, during the UFC 318 post-fight press conference, Dana White made it very clear that Jon Jones would not be involved in this highly anticipated card. White's reasoning was simple. He questioned Jon's reliability. On Sunday, Jones fired back with a measured response, saying he was disappointed in White's assessment, especially considering how he has been staying ready. On the Good Guy Bad Guy podcast, Daniel Cormier and Chael Sonnen gave their take on the situation and why the UFC might be deliberately keeping Jones off this card. Chael explained, "Just like Jon Jones goes, I want $30 million to fight." He negotiated publicly, and the UFC responded publicly going, "We can do this without you, and we're intending to do it without you if you don't get in line and show us that things are going to be better." Chael suggested the UFC is sending a clear message: if Jon wants to play hardball, they are willing to move forward without him. But Jones maintains that he's still committed. "Hey, I was a little bit disappointed," he said. "I'm still in the UFC drug testing pool, staying sharp, continuing to train like a professional. I'll be ready for whatever comes next." His words signal that while he might not be on this specific card, he hasn't closed the door on returning. Cormier then raised an interesting question. What happened to retirement? For months, Jon teased stepping away, yet now he seems to keep one foot in the game. Cormier said, "Before, I thought the White House card was the thing that was gonna get him back, but it sounds like now he's just gonna fight jail. I know you messaged him. I know you texted. What have you guys been talking about in regards to your friend's career?" Chael, who has close connections to Jon's inner circle, answered carefully, "Alright, so my closest in is one of his inner circle. And listen, they didn't have a major inside scoop. They're saying what you see is what you get. He does not want to risk that protected record. To Jon, that record means a lot, And yes, he does see some special challenges with Tom. I think that's okay to say publicly. It doesn't damage Jon at all to compliment someone else. Chael also pointed out a deeper problem. There's really only one fight for Jon. Even if we use our imaginations a year from now, there's still only one fight. That's the issue. It's not just about being willing to come back. If I bring you to the White House lawn, when we fade to black and roll the credits, is the last thing you're gonna say, "I'm done, I'm retired, and now I've screwed you for the belt again after taking out your top guy"? There is some real chess being played here. That's the problem. In other words, the UFC has to think long term. Bringing Jon Jones back could generate huge hype, but if he takes out their top contender and immediately retires again, it leaves the division in chaos. That uncertainty makes the UFC hesitate, and for now, it seems Jon will have to wait for his next big moment. Next, let's talk about Tom Aspinall reacting to his fight announcement. Aspinall was visibly excited as he addressed the big news of his long-awaited fight finally being made official with Gane. After months of speculation, false starts, and previous cancellations, the heavyweight clash is now locked in. Tom expressed his relief and determination in a video to fans, saying, "Finally, we're back after over a year hiatus. Me and Cyril finally signed on the dotted line. This is the 4th time we've been matched up together. He turned down the fight early on, back before we were both even in the rankings. After that, he went and fought Sergey Spivak instead." Tom then recalled his post-fight plans after beating Topuria. "I said in a post-fight interview, I'm going to go to Paris. I'm going to sit front row for Gane versus Sergey Spivak. I'm going to beat the winner, and then I'm going to beat Jon Jones." That was the plan. True to his word, Tom traveled to Paris, but things didn't go as he expected. "I went to Paris. I was ready, but Cyril unfortunately turned down the fight on a second occasion. Then on the third occasion, I ended up fighting Curtis Blades. The original opponent was Cyril, but once again, Cyril couldn't commit. He was busy that day, filming his Netflix series. I can't remember what it's called, but I'm sure you can check it out on Netflix." Now, after all the delays, cancellations, and reshuffles, the fight is finally happening. Tom confirmed, "Now we are matched up for the 25th of October in Abu Dhabi. Me and Cyril, the 4th attempt. This is it." There's a lot at stake, not just for Tom Aspinall, but also for Gane. Aspinall pointed out the significance of this bout, saying, "This is Cyril's 3rd title shot, so we are going to try and get rid of Gane from the title picture for good." For Tom Aspinall, this fight represents more than just another step in his career. It's about proving himself as the true contender in the heavyweight division. It's about settling unfinished business with a fighter who, for various reasons, has managed to avoid sharing the octagon with him until now. For Gane, it's a chance to reclaim his place in the title race, but Aspinall is determined to end that chapter once and for all. The anticipation is already building. Fans know these two heavyweights bring very different styles, Aspinall with his speed, precision, and wrestling, and Gane with his slick striking and elusive footwork. The narrative is there. 4 failed attempts, countless twists, and finally a showdown that could reshape the division. On October 25th in Abu Dhabi, this rivalry will finally reach its long-awaited conclusion. Now onto another big fight update. Rainier da Ritter says he absolutely needs to finish Robert Whitaker. This crucial middleweight showdown goes down this weekend at UFC Abu Dhabi, and the stakes could not be higher for Rainier. He made it very clear that simply winning won't be enough. He must make a statement. If he wants any realistic shot at earning a middleweight title fight, he believes a finish is the only way to secure it. Speaking with confidence, de Ritter praised Whitaker while also outlining the dangers he presents. "He's been at the top, he's lost it all, but he's still there," Radar said. And that's the most special thing about him, to be honest. A lot of guys, when they reach the top and then they fall off even a little bit, they fall far. But he has not. He's still there, still as dangerous as always. De Ritter highlighted how Whitaker's resilience has kept him in the conversation as one of the best in the division, even after setbacks. He continued, "He showed in the Ecom fight that he can still finish a fight and still has a lot of power in his hands. He's still very quick. That speed and explosiveness remain major weapons for Whitaker, which means Rainier must approach the fight with intelligence and discipline." Breaking down Whitaker's style, de Ritter explained the key pattern he's noticed. "So what I'm seeing in all of his fights is, he likes when you give him a couple of seconds. He likes to have a moment to look, see what's going on, and then blitz. so I cannot give him those seconds. That means Ardier plans to fight aggressively, not allowing Whitaker the time and space to set traps or create openings. I see myself pressing forward, putting a lot of pressure on him early, he said. I see him responding with quick kicks, trying to blitz. I'm gonna pressure him early, hand fight, hit him with some good long-range stuff, then hopefully hit him with some close-range stuff, take him down, choke him out. That's the plan. This isn't just about a win, it's about sending a message to the entire division. Dar knows that decision wins won't move him closer to a title shot, not against a name like Whitaker. To truly earn that next step, he must be dominant. So the most important thing in this fight is I need to finish Rob to have a chance to fight for the title, the Ritter said firmly. I need to finish him, so that's what I'm coming for. This fight promises high stakes and high intensity. Either De Ritter delivers the statement he needs, or Whitaker proves once again why he remains one of the most dangerous men at middleweight, ChatGPT said. Now let's move on to some truly heartwarming news. Ben Askren is going home. After what felt like an endless battle, Ben provided a major update on his recovery following a double lung transplant. This was a long and grueling journey filled with uncertainty, pain, and moments that truly tested his spirit. But finally, after weeks in the hospital and a slow road to healing, Ben is heading back home to his family. He shared an emotional message with fans saying, "What's up, guys? Day 59. I'm out with my beautiful wife who's been so supportive through all of this. Man, that was a long journey and it's not over yet because I still can't really walk. I have to reteach myself to do that, among many other things." Despite the hardship, Ben kept a light tone about his experience. "I guess I can make light of it because it was me and honestly, I don't really remember most of it. But Amy, how close was I to die?" His wife Amy responded softly but truthfully, "Too close a few times?" That moment alone says so much about how serious this ordeal was. Ben then reflected on how much of the journey felt like a blur. "Oh man, I don't remember 35 days of this journey. I just don't, but I think surgery was 24, maybe 25 days ago. It was hard. It was really hard." He went on to emphasize how much the support from friends, family, and fans meant to him during these life-threatening weeks. "And I said this already in one of the videos, but the support you guys gave me, whether it was sending a GoFundMe donation, whether it was helping my kids and wife get through it, I had friends come from all over the country just to hang out for a couple days. It meant so much. It was so great to just have all the support and all the love, and hopefully I'm not in this situation again for a really long time. I plan on living a while. So thank you guys again. All the positive vibes, all the comments online, everything means so much. Love you guys." Ben also took a moment to clear up rumors about his surgery costs. There were multiple reports circulating online that celebrities had paid off his entire medical bill, but according to Ben, that's just not the truth. John Kim posted, "There are so many leading reports about celebrities paying off the whole double lung transplant cost." Ben reposted that and added, "A lot of people have been incredibly generous, but any celebrity saying they paid it all are lying. This story is a reminder of resilience, love, and community support. Ben's journey isn't over yet, but the fact that he's finally going home is a huge victory and a moment worth celebrating." Finally, let's wrap up with our last news. Ilia Topuria goes off on Max Holloway and makes it clear that Justin or Paddy is next. Ilia appeared on the Nelk Boys live stream earlier today, and he didn't hold back at all. He had some harsh words for Max Holloway, questioning how Holloway can still be considered the BMF after their last fight. Topuria also made it clear that there are absolutely no talks right now about him defending the lightweight belt against Armen Tsarukyan. In his eyes, the next big fight will most likely involve Justin Gaethje or Paddy Pimblett. During the live stream, the host brought up Holloway's recent comments. They asked him, "How about Max Holloway? I guess now he said he doesn't like how you're walking around with the BMF belt and stuff." Topuria immediately shut that down, replying, "That's not my problem, I just knocked him out." His tone was sharp and unapologetic, making it clear he's not interested in entertaining any debate about Holloway's complaints. They pressed further, asking if there was any chance of a rematch with Max. Topuria laughed it off and said, "I don't agree with that. Like, you just knocked him out. I just knocked him out. Yeah, like how can you still be the BMF if I knock you out? I just told you I pointed to the ground in the first 10 seconds. You ran away. Then I caught you anyways. Then I put you to sleep and you're still the BMF. How's that even possible?" It's clear Ilia doesn't see any point in revisiting a fight he feels he already settled decisively. Instead, his focus is on what's next and who the UFC will line up for him. Seriously though, who do you think the UFC will give me next, he said. Then he answered his own question. I don't know. I think they're gonna try to push for Justin, that's what I think. Or maybe Paddy. There's not even a conversation about our men. This gives fans some insight into what might be coming. A fight with Justin Gaethje would be an absolute war, with fireworks guaranteed from start to finish. A fight with Paddy Pimblett would bring in huge hype and mainstream attention, but many would question whether Paddy is ready for someone like Ilia. Either way, Topuria is confident the UFC will look to pair him with a big name next. And that's the latest update from the MMA world. Big news, big fights on the horizon, and plenty of drama inside and outside the octagon. If you're enjoying these updates and want to stay on top of all the action, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more.